say a casual remark by my father. When I was not very happy in the private sector after my MBA from Ahmedabad, I was working in the private sector, not very happy. He saw my condition and said, "Why don't you write the civil services exam? You've been a topper always and it should not be very difficult for you." Normally he wouldn't tell me a thing like this. So I thought about it and I said, if I'm not happy and half the St. Stephen's College is writing that exam, why shouldn't I make an effort? So I went to the college and I asked a couple of people and they said, go ahead. So that's the reason why I'm here. A chance remark by my father saying, why don't you write the exam? I don't know how many people actually understand what goes on in the civil service. There are three facets of the civil service that not many people know. One is, you compare it to any other job in this country, you can't have that kind of range of activities that you do in the civil service. So if you're getting bored with education today, tomorrow you can be looking after the health sector. You're bored with the health sector for 3 years, you can be looking after infrastructure. Which job in this country or any other country allows you that kind of range of activities? So that is one thing. Secondly, you are able to create a difference, and a huge difference if you want it. There aren't many places where you can create this kind of difference. You can create a huge difference, and the difference depends on the ability to maneuver all your resources and work hard on it. Thirdly, you enjoy a certain status, power in society along with these two things, which is fundamentally different from any other assignment that you do anywhere. So in the last 34 and a half years in the government, in more than 15 odd assignments that I've done, I've never had the feeling that I'm not doing my best or I'm not making a difference or it's futile doing what I'm doing. I would not proclaim that I'm very unique in what I have done, because any good civil servant, and I'm using the word good because you can waste your time in the civil service also, any good civil servant would get the same opportunities that I got. It's a question of how you utilize those opportunities. Number one, to do public good. Number two, to evolve yourself. Now, I have painstakingly done both the public good and the evolution, because it provides you an excellent opportunity to do that. Now, my own journey after doing an MBA from Ahmedabad, I had the whole private sector open to me. I did it for 3 years, not that I shied away from it. I did it for 3 years, was not very happy, came here, had an excellent 34 and a half years of service. And I clearly, as I mentioned a little while ago, I clearly feel that this is the best job for any well-meaning youngster in our country, because you can't get a job as diverse as this if you are passionate about public service. If you're passionate about doing good and you don't have the money to do it, this is a tremendous platform to do that. Nobody else can give you that platform. It's not about money all the time. You can create wonders. People in the civil service have done wonders. You have to be like Caesar's wife. The reason for that is you are too much in the public eye. People are watching you, and people are watching you very carefully. Especially if you're a tough administrator, every action of yours is reaching the people. For example, when I was administrator of Lakshadweep Islands, I was warned that what cooks in your kitchen also will be the subject of discussion at the jetty. Jetty is where people sit and chat. So I said, that's fine, I'm a vegetarian, there'll be one dal and one sabzi in the morning, one dal, one sabzi in the evening. Let them chat about that, it's fine with me. I don't eat anything else. So the point I'm trying to make is, you are so much in the public eye that you can't afford, if you want to do a good job, you can't afford to create problems for yourself and your reputation. And the second thing is your reputation travels much before you reach your next assignment. Everything about you is known before you enter your next assignment in the office. In such a situation, a civil servant has to be exactly like Caesar's wife. You can't afford to be saying something and doing something. It doesn't work. The mechanics of the examination hasn't changed very much. The examination always required you to be thorough about 3 subjects. 2 were specialized subjects that you could choose. They were called optional subjects. And the third was general knowledge. The change that has come about is that you have now 2 general knowledge papers and 1 optional paper. Therefore, if you're a master of, let's say, physics and maths, earlier you would walk in because you'll master your physics and maths, those 2 papers you've cleared. Third one, even if you don't do too well, overall you'll get through. Here, it's not about mastery of your subject. It's about what is happening in the world. So if you look at today's world, you need to read as much as possible about what's happening around, both in the world and in your country. So my simple advice to anyone, a lot of people ask me, one is read The Economist magazine. It captures the whole world every week. Read the Economic Times in India. It captures the economic news of India every week. And read a general newspaper like Times of India or Hindu, which captures the social, economic, political environment of the country. So if you read 2 newspapers and a magazine, I think that should be more than sufficient. But you have to read cover to cover. You can't say, I'll drop this, I'll drop that. They can ask you anything from anywhere. These 3 papers or magazines or paper and magazine together should take care of all the 2 general knowledge papers. And then you have to master your own subject, because if you don't master your own subject, people will score higher than you. The book that I wrote is called 100 Ideas to Improve Governance in India. As I mentioned, over 15 different assignments in 34 and a half years, I was exposed to various policy lacuna. I was exposed to grim realities of India, and based on that, I got ideas which filtered through me. In service, you can't write very much, there are rules and you. So as soon as I retired in December 31st, 2017, 2nd January, I started writing the book because they were all churning in my mind, and I realized very soon I'll lose memory of it. In about 5 months, I'd written the book. This is a serious book, and at the same time, each idea takes only a couple of pages. So it gives you, it's a kaleidoscope of India and how India's governance can be improved. There are 24 chapters, 24 sectors which I have covered. So for a civil servant aspirant who's writing the exam, I think it's a ready-made kunji also. Because, if they ask about any of these 100 subjects, you can actually get your inputs or material from there. The point I'm trying to make is there are some very big ideas, there are some moderate ideas, there are very simple ideas. But I think all 100 ideas are doable. Government, and since I could reach the top echelons of the government, about 12 ideas have been implemented in the last 1 year. I feel satisfied about that. And I feel that if others also looked at carefully, a lot of them would have great mileage for the country. 3 things interest me. One is reading. So I read a lot even now, although the reading habit is dwindling all over. Secondly, I write every week. I write a column for the business world now. Earlier also in my working career, I used to write. So that takes a little bit of my time. Thirdly, I'm very fond of theatre. So I have seen enormous amount of theatre in Delhi, English, Hindi, over the last 25 years. Even when I was working, a good play and I would leave office by 6 and reach there by 6:30. So theatre is a great, not that I act myself, but I'm very fond of good theatre. And fourth, I've over the years developed a passion for good paintings. So I've picked up a lot during my working career, and even now The one that you see here, Shiv Parivar, I picked up from the Indira Gandhi National Center for Performing Arts, where they had a huge painting mela about 1 year ago. So this is something that has happened over the last 10-15 years, but it gives me a lot of joy, so I spent some time doing that. In one word, I would say constructive and fruitful. Another word I can use is all-encompassing, comprehensive, and finally, if I can use that word, I feel satiated. That's very important.